Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Toastmasters meeting of the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. By the powers vested in me by the Toastmasters International and by the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, I now call this meeting to order. Yes, for tonight's theme, before anything else, let us bow our heads, let us be led to an invocation. And to lead us to invocation, let us welcome distinguished Toastmaster Mark Edrado.
Good evening, everyone. Let us bow our heads and feel the presence of our Lord. Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening of learning and camaraderie, and thank you for the wisdom that you are giving us. Thank you for the rights of every human being here in our country and in the world, and thank you for everything that you continuously show us, even your love, your providence, and your wisdom. Father God, this evening, we pray that you empower us all the more in communication and in leadership. And together, let's give glory to you through our skills in public speaking and leadership. And as we gather here in this place, bless us, guide us, protect us, lead us, and save us. This we pray in the name of our Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord, our Savior. Amen. Now, let us raise our right hand and recite the Toastmasters promise. As a member of Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to the club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters' core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
Okay, thank you very much, DPM Mark. Now, we are in an exciting period because we have come to the bear months, and this is our first meeting for the bear months. And also, as the evening progresses, we expect a lot of excitement, a lot of learning. And what else can be more exciting than to know the theme tonight? And to let me introduce to you the Toastmaster of the evening, our beloved Toastmaster who is based in US, but has been a very part of us because he was at the Toastmasters Club in its formative stage. He's a very nice guy and he has a varied interest. Among them, becoming a public speaker, a well-rounded individual indeed. Let us welcome our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Oscar Soriano. Let's give him a big hand.
Thank you very much, President Marley Biran. The Bill of Rights in the Philippines is not just ink on paper. It is the lifeblood of our democracy. It safeguards our freedom of speech. It guarantees our rights to due process, and it protects our dignity as members of a civilized society. Unfortunately, we live in a country where historically those same rights are often trampled upon, mangled, beaten, and broken. That's the bare truth, my fellow Toastmasters. And the Bill of Rights is calling us to action and vigilance. We step into our role not only as speakers, but as guardians of the truth. And as Toastmasters, we just don't polish words. We sharpen voices that can challenge falsehood, inspire courage, and to defend justice. Fellow Toastmasters, may this meeting remind us that when we use our voices with clarity and conviction, we put to life those very rights that we aim to protect. And also, we hope to be able to cover all the 22 sections of the Bill of Rights, time permitting. Otherwise, we'll just give snippets and appurtenances as we go along the meeting. I don't think we have any guests tonight, but for those who are new in the Toastmasters, our meeting will be divided into three parts. First, the table topic section, which is the random speeches. And next will be the prepared speeches, and we have three speakers for the evening. And lastly, but the most important part of our program, is the warranted evaluation. All the speeches will be timed in accordance with Toastmasters protocol. And our general evaluated will be supported and supplemented with reports from our timer, the language evaluator, and the overseer of vocal and verbal nuisances, which we now call the filler and motion evaluation, or FAME. So now we're almost ready to start with our meeting. And to commence our meeting for the evening, I'd like to call on a very bold, daring, nationalistic, and perhaps uncorruptible, dashing Toastmaster to introduce a word for the evening, and we'd like to encourage everyone to use it. Please give a hand to the dashing Toastmaster, Ray De Jesus.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. I am your language evaluator, and I'll be sharing to you our word of the night. Now, our word of the night is parvenu. It means one that has recently or suddenly risen to an accustomed position of wealth or power and has not yet gained the prestige, dignity, or manner associated with it. As an example, critics dismissed the newly elected senator as a political parvenu, claiming she lacked the experience and connections of the old guard. But her bold reforms quickly proved otherwise. Does anyone from the group wanted to share a sentence that includes our word of the night? May I call Toastmaster Beng?
Oh, okay. Just one moment. I can't open my camera. Most parvenus often favor wearing loud, branded clothing to display their wealth. Parvenu. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, to challenge our members for tonight, I would like everyone to use the word parvenu 10 times. So I will be tracking all those who will use our word of the night. So it's a challenge for all of us, especially that we are discussing about wealth and rich, and we are discussing about wealth and listening to wealth for the past few days. Back to you, our host, our Toastmaster of the evening.
Okay, the Bill of Rights of the Philippines, as I said earlier, is composed of 22 sections. Now I will quickly go and process the first five. The very first one on top is the guarantee of life, liberty, and property. This has often been violated in our history. Fortunately, during the martial law, a lot of people just disappeared in the dark of the night, and also in the most current times a lot of people were killed during the anti-drug campaign of the previous administration. Number two, unreasonable searches. Nobody can be arrested without a warrant. Just the same, during the martial law era, a lot of people were taken out of their lives and were never seen again. Privacy of communication, number three. Back in the days, unauthorized wiretapping, but in the more current state of our technology, SOCMED is a very important part of privacy of communication. Freedom of speech. Samples of these are Rappler and the arrest of Maria Ressa, the closure of ABS-CBN, and the chilling effect. What do you think is the chilling effect? The chilling effect is when media is forced to self-censor. With harassment from the government, the media are left to just censor all their outputs on television and on radio. And number five, religion and worship. How many times have we heard about red tagging, persecutions of people that don't belong to the same religion? And of course, all of you are aware of that Australian nun that was unreasonably deported to her home country because she was red tagged as a communist. These are the first five, and I hope you listen and take note of all the five. There's 22. So now let us invoke our freedom of speech, which is our guaranteed right number 4 in the Bill of Rights, by ushering in our table topic session where random speeches according to this sections in the Bill of Rights. And to lead us in the table topic session is somebody who is bold and also unconventional. She may be a little soft-spoken, but she is a powerhouse in organization and evaluation. Please welcome DTM candidate TM Armel Gutierrez.
Thank you so much to your generous introduction, Toastmaster Oscar. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. How are you doing? I hope you are feeling good and excited tonight in spite of the many chaotic events that is happening around us. We must stay positive and hopeful every day. Now, for our table topic, since we do not have guests tonight, I know all of you knows the drill. You may use the different patterns to expound the quotations or questions that will be given to you later. You may use the advantages and disadvantage, or you may opt to use the past, present, and future pattern, as well as compare and contrast. And never forget the prep. the point, reason, example, and point. And also never forget to use the AIDA: attention, interest, desire, and action. Now, why do we have to practice ourselves in doing the table topic session? It is because we have to think on our feet. It is an impromptu question given to you to practice us whenever we are being asked on the spot or being interviewed on a job. That's why we have those table topic session. And for the proper use of time, you're allowed to use at least 1 minute to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Our timer is Chris. She will flash the green light for 1 minute and yellow for 2 minutes. Ay, ano tama ba? 1.5, nalimutan ko pa, for yellow, and 2 and beyond red light. So here are some of my timer is Toastmaster Elise Dolatas. Okay, I will be sharing my screen and I hope you will volunteer. Now here is my first question. If you could create a new right for all Filipinos, no matter how serious or silly, what would it be and why? If you could create a new right for all Filipinos, no matter how serious it is or silly, what would it be and why? Would you like to volunteer? Yes, I see you. Toastmaster Mar, please go ahead.
If I could create a new right for all Filipinos, I would create the right to bounce back, the right from the disadvantage. It could be something silly, but it is related to having equality because some people are really disadvantaged in life. And because of this disadvantage, sometimes it could be multiplied by the consequences or it can be mitigated. Allowing an environment or creating an environment where one can show his talent, his skill, and one can really rise above uh, the other handicaps or physical limitation amidst this habit of discrimination, lookism, discrimination against all people, against left-handed, against all the uh, small people, then we can truly say that everybody will rise to his potential. And who knows, the contribution can be so concrete. Let us accept the fact that one stage of life will contribute to another. If one is disadvantaged in elementary, then is disadvantaged in high school, and then the disadvantage goes on unless something dramatic uh, or a breakthrough takes place. So I am having this goal for all the those that are having less in life, less skill, less looks, less in economically, to give them a chance. I've been wishing that, and I hope that it can be taken well. Thank you very much. I return the control back to our table topics master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mar. That was so interesting. A right to bounce back, where it connotes equality. It may also be a right to bounce forward so that all of us can be given a second chance, a new hope to fight over and over again. Okay, for whatever it is you have. For our next topic, share again the screen. For our next topic, here it is. There. Okay. If you were given the power to make a law protecting a unique Filipino tradition, what would it be? If you were given the power to make a law protecting a unique Filipino tradition, what would it be? Any volunteer for this? I see you thinking, Rai, Rose, and Mark. Rose, would you like to give it a try? Thank you.
At ang nanalo.
Yes,
So we
Filipinos have many traditions, and I've been thinking the first one that I thought was bayanihan. So the second one that I thought was our dances, like the tinikling. And then I thought, why don't we go? Why don't we go with the being respectful? Let's do. Let's protect the po and the opo and the pagmamahal. Because last week I saw this viral video of this child, and he was very, very angry at his mother. He was shouting, he was livid. And I really felt emotional because I myself, of course, am a mother. And I don't want that to happen to my kids. And I don't want that to happen to other mothers and to other parents because it is so heartbreaking. The respect that people should have, not just for people that are older or your parents, grandparents, your kamag-anaks, people should innately respect others. And I doubt that this is a way for this person or for people to be a parvenu. And let's call this a new parvenu. The richest would be a society that is filled with respectful people, a society that is filled with people who are caring and kind with one another. And I hope to protect that Filipino trait from the starting with the children, from making the mano and saying po and opo. That's where it will start. Hopefully, our future will be so much brighter, not so red like my timer. Back to you, Toastmaster Arvel.
thank you so much, Toastmaster Rose. I love it. Being respectful, saying po and opo. It shows love and caring to other people. Until now, I know the Gen X or some of you are still saying po and opo whenever you're with your parents or with your grandparents, right? It's a good way of showing to our children that we are respectful and that the words po and opo should not be forgotten. Thank you for that sharing, Toastmaster Rose. And for our third one, wait lang. Ba't ayaw? Ayan. In the digital age, how should we protect our right to privacy while still staying connected and safe online? In the digital age, how should we protect our right to privacy while still staying connected and safe online? Anyone for this statement? May I call on our area director, Rai, to expound on this question?
for us to be connected and safe online, it is our responsibility to always check the settings and the settings of the applications that we are using today. We have to be aware to whom we are sharing our personal informations so that we will be able to control all the private information that we wanted to protect, especially in these days that artificial intelligence is flourishing. deep deep fake and sometimes ill-minded people tend to swap your face to other bodies, perhaps committing criminal act. And there are times that popular people are their face, their voices are being used in different scams. Aside from being able to set our settings in privacy and in privacy or selecting the things that we want to share, we have to be aware as well on how artificial intelligence works, especially those people who are older, because they have this tendency to be tricked by artificial intelligence, AI created images, voices, and even advertisements. Perhaps for us to be able to share this knowledge, we need to conduct seminars, trainings, or just simply inform all those people who needs guidance in this digital era. Well, Toastmasters and friends, let us not gatekeep the wisdom and the knowledge that we've gained from from our exposure in these new technologies. Let us inform those that we love, and especially those who are older, so that they will be informed and they will be knowledgeable as well, so that we can protect not only ourselves, but the whole community. Back to you, Toastmaster Arnel.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rai. Maybe it may sound so basic, but it is very important to always check on the privacy on the setting before we share in social media what you would like to share. It's very important to be very careful also in using the social media like your Facebook, your Instagram, or your TikTok account. Now, let me share to you another. This one, this is so nice. Describe a moment in your life when you truly felt the power or absence of your right as a Filipino. Describe a moment in your life when you truly felt that somehow you truly felt the power or the absence of your right as a Filipino. Who would like to take on this statement? How about DT Mark?
Who among you are excited every 15th and last day of the month because of salary? And of course, I am excited whenever that time comes. And when I checked my payslip, I could see that a certain amount from my salary is being deducted because of my withholding tax. And what and that empowers me to exercise my right. I am a taxpayer and I know that I'm paying the right taxes. However, the absence of my right as a Filipino is that I I always wish to have this adequate standard of living. You can see everywhere. There's flood everywhere. The transportation system is below standards. And the inflation rate is rising. So where's the justice after all? Fellow Toastmasters, I can face you and I can face everybody that I am a taxpayer, a rightful taxpayer, and that is my power. My tax is being used in social security and in other projects in the government and in the country. However, this tax, I'm just wishing that this tax will convert equivalently to an adequate standard of living, not only for me, but also to all of us here in the country. Back to you, Toastmaster Armel.
Thank you so much, DTM Mark. All of us here can share the same feelings that you're having. We have the same feelings. We're all happy every payday, but also sad because of the tax that we have to share in the government. But then if it is being used for the infrastructure, proper use of infrastructure, well, then well and good. Our we're sharing part of our income to the government. We reach we hope it could be used for the betterment of our country and for the everybody. And that is our table topic session for tonight. I hope you enjoyed every questions, every statement that is given to you. And thank you so much to all of our table topic speakers. We learned so much from you, and that your sharing was also heartily felt by everyone. I would like to return the control to our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Oscar.
Now let's look at the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections of the Bill of Rights of the Philippine Constitution that provide us with all the protection. Number 6 is the right to abode. We have the liberty to live wherever we want or change to wherever we want to live without limits. We have the right to travel, and we have the right to also own properties elsewhere in the Philippines. As a U.S. citizen with the dual citizenship, the Philippine Bill of Rights has given me the opportunity to go back to the Philippines and rightfully live there for as long as I want and live in my own home, buy a property and invest, and also vote. That is a right that is given to me and prescribed, and that is safeguarded by the Bill of Rights. Section 7, the information of people to information. Now, I think we are a little bit transparent with the right to information because of the social media and the data that we have in the internet. One of these that propped up just recently is Isumbong sa Pangulo, that was spearheaded by the president, where he actually posted all the illegal and all the flood control projects that are in question. Section 8 gives us the opportunity to form unions. Of course, in our workplaces, not all the time do we have proper compensation, so people are encouraged to also form unions. Also, in the past and historically, the Philippines is very keen on dispersing unions because of the cost that it entails to the government. Number 9, private property compensation because of the law of eminent domain. I'm sure you know that the government can actually purchase your property at market value. For instance, when a road or a bridge or a skyway is being built, the property or your property may be bought by the state with proper and just compensation. Likewise, number 10, obligation and contracts. And of course, number 11 is free legal assistance, mostly for the poor. When we have cases where poor are not able to provide their own legal assistance, we can go to the public office and the dole and the flag or the IBP or the Integrated Bar of the Philippines for help. The right to remain silent, no torture or forces of violence, and people that have suffered under torture and violence have the right to compensation. Of course, we all know that martial law actually did this with PH1 with 10 billion that was given to the victims of martial law, and they were properly compensated. If you were convicted, you have the right to bail. Those are the next 8 sections of the Bill of Rights. Now we go to the next portion of our program, which is the prepared speeches. We have 3 speakers for the night, and the first one actually is not here today. She is Ana Aborde, but instead she has sent a recorded video of her speech, which should not be more than 7.5 minutes. The title of her speech is Negotiating Beyond Numbers, and this is for the past dynamic leadership, that is level 3.1, negotiate to be the best outcome. And the purpose of this speech is to learn about the different types of negotiations and the strategies that can be used when negotiating. This is a 5 to 7 minute speech, and her evaluator is Toastmaster Rose Baguio. May we turn the control to Mark for the video?
Hello, fellow Toastmasters, and good evening. When most people hear the word negotiation, they imagine a tug of war. Two sides pulling hard, waiting to see who gives in first. But in my experience, it felt less like a tug of war and more like trying to build a bridge. One of the biggest negotiations I've gone through was when I received a job offer. The package looked good at first glance, but I knew I had to take a closer look. Some parts didn't fit my situation, while others didn't quite reflect the value I could bring. I had a choice: just accept it as is or start a conversation. Before jumping into that conversation, I asked myself a few questions. What do you really want? What are the non-negotiables, and where can I be flexible? Those questions help me see things clearly. I decided that my style for this negotiation would be collaborative. I wasn't trying to win at the other person's expense. Instead, I wanted to see if we could both walk away with something better. The first thing I did was show acceptance and appreciation for the offer. Appreciation. That might sound small, but it sets the tone. When you acknowledge the other side, you create an atmosphere of respect. Then, instead of listing demands, I raised questions. For example, some benefits in the package weren't useful to me personally, but others, like professional development and free fuel, were really important. So I framed it as, is there flexibility here? Can we shift this benefit to something more aligned with my career goals or my expenses? This way, I wasn't just saying I want more. I was showing why the change mattered. It wasn't about me versus them. It was about finding a common ground. And of course, I was ready to compromise. Not every request was approved, but the company showed flexibility, and I showed that I valued the relationship. My ideal outcome was a package that recognized my value and supported my growth. What I ended up with wasn't exactly my original vision, but it was close. More importantly, the conversation reinforced trust between me and the hiring manager, and also foster future relationship since we will now work together in one company, right? It was a classic win-win. They get a motivated new hire. I got a package I felt good about accepting. Looking back, 3 lessons stand out. Number 1, preparation gives you confidence. Knowing your goals makes it easier to stay calm and clear. Number 2, collaboration builds trust. Respecting the other side's constraints keeps the discussion productive. Number 3, flexibility matters. You don't need to win on every single point to walk away happy. If I were to do it again, I'd add one more thing. Bring in more data. Having industry benchmarks on hand could have made my case even stronger. Not necessarily so, but yes. In the end, I realized that negotiation isn't about fighting for the biggest slice of the pie. It's about baking a pie that both sides actually want to share. And when you do it that way, when you build the bridge, you don't just walk away with better terms, you walk away with stronger relationships. Thank you, Toastmasters.
The next sections of the Bill of Rights are our protection for due process. Section number 14 says that no person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense without due process of law. Number 15, in all, the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended except in cases of invasion or rebellion when the public safety requires it. I'm pretty sure most of you know what the writ of habeas corpus is presenting the body. Habeas in Latin is body. Habeas is to have or to bring. Corpus is the body. So what this means is that the court shall summon the custodians of the prisoner to bring the prisoner to court so that they can determine whether the prisoner is deemed to be released or the criminal is guilty of the cases brought forth against him. And number 16, all persons shall have the right to speedy disposition of their cases before all judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative bodies. We'll explain that later. And number 17, self-incrimination. You've heard that in the most recent Senate hearings a lot. Number 18, no person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspirations. Number 19, excessive fines. Before, for a mere petty theft of 50 pesos, somebody can be imprisoned for 1 day and a 5,000 fee, which is unfair. So the Bill of Rights guarantees that there will never be any excessive fines to be given by the prisoner or the charged criminal. Non-payment of poll tax. Number 21, double jeopardy. We'll explain that later. It means you cannot be punished twice for the same offense. Number 22, and the last section of the Bill of Rights is ex post facto law, which means that no person no ex post facto law or bill or attainder shall be enacted to charge the criminal after the case has been decided upon. So now we have all the 22 sections of the Bill of Rights explained. So let's get on with the prepared speeches. And our second speaker is none other than our President Mar Liberan. The title of his speech is Extra Motion, that extra remark, that extra look. And this is part of his motivational strategists project under MS 4.1, Motivate Others. The purpose of this project is to practice the skills needed to motivate team members through the completion of a project. Again, this is a 5 to 7 minute speech, and his evaluator is none other than our Educational Vice President, Mark Edrad.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and our special guest, DPM Beng. How many of you here are spectators of the game basketball? And how many have a die-hard team? In basketball, there is such a thing as a flagrant foul. And a flagrant foul is committed resulting to a technical foul. But then, if a player acts in such a way that there is an extra motion, like, kaya, he is slapped a technical foul, and he is turned out of the court, ejected, because of that extra motion, which is misinterpreted as hostility to the referee. Second example, in our day-to-day life, it cannot be helped that we encounter a person who is opinionated and who is adamant in his point of view. We have to find a way by which we can talk to that person, assuming that you have talked to that person and you have described your points and you have won um, the argument. It will be an error on your part if after you have drove home your point or emphasize your stand, you will still make a careless remark. That extra remark can be something that will turn you from a level-headed person to a rude person in their eyes. The third, that is careless extra remark, where we should be very discriminating. The third one, have we not been taught in school that in taking qualifying exams or scholarship exam, we have to be careful not to spend extra time on one particular test item. Otherwise, it may cause us not to make it in an office or to lose a possible scholarship. Those extra behavior can be so careless, and that is the ones that will get us into trouble. So we are actually being called upon to avoid these costly mistakes. I remember when I was taking up masters in UP that I had an argument with this girl. We are brainstorming, and she insisted on that extra polish, extra effect that should lead to a glowing, protracted introduction. While I'm saying that we should have a lot of time for data gathering and analyzing the data. The result, when we presented to the teachers, we were told our report was substantially incomplete. The consequence, we have to repeat our report, especially that is a requirement. Now, all of this, because of that extra attention to unnecessary details or not being aware of time. But I tell you, despite of all of this disadvantage of those extra motions, extra remarks, it is different here in Toastmasters. Because in Toastmasters, the extra effort that you will pour into your role will certainly amount to big thing. Every time you assume a role, whether it's tag time, whether it's timing, whether it's a counter, whether it's being grammarian, every time that you participate in table topics, every time you accept an invitation in other clubs, every time that you attend a training, whether it's online, whether it's face-to-face, they all pay big dividends. Yes, every time you are in a conference or convention, every time you smile at someone, they can be your potential friends. Certainly, every extra effort that we put into our organization do not go to waste, does not come in vain. The extra effort, whether you are already tired, whether you are already overwhelmed with other concerns, and your plate is full, all of this will certainly amount to big thing. Concrete improvement in your being a Toastmaster and will certainly enrich your Toastmaster journey. You may have your own Toastmaster pot. I may have my own Toastmaster pot. But let it get clear. We have chosen a better portion. Shall we not be happy together in our Toastmasters journey? Let us join together. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mark. I don't really see the lights coming on. Was that still within the 7 minute span of time that was allowed the speaker? At least Dolatas, our timer. I'm not sure whether I saw the colors on the screen. Can we try and see what's going on with that?
It is still in the limited time. Yeah. But
Okay, so
I
we have
am
not
not,
shown the green
yeah.
light. So the last speaker,
Yes.
President Mar Libiran, was under 7 minutes or under 5 minutes.
Under 7 minutes.
Under 7 minutes. Okay, right. Okay, now I was just thinking we were talking about it about a while ago, and I thought of the word parvenu. Now, two people in Texas and Missouri are in a state of huge parvenu when they actually won the $1.8 billion in the lottery on Saturday. Two people are, and the cash value of the winnings is 800 million. So divided by two, that's 400 million apiece. And if you convert that to peso, in 57 times 57 pesos per dollar, my iPhone cannot even fathom the value of that amount. And I am also in a state of parvenu because I have been buying those lottery tickets for the last 2 months since it started at 20 million. And just on Saturday, it was $1.8 billion. Let's see, go back to the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the Philippines and my major takeaways. Number one key takeaway is the very first guarantee in our Bill of Rights, which is the guarantee of life, liberty, and property. Of course, historically, we look at the martial law during the time. I'm not trying to be political. This is based on facts, and you can search the internet. These are facts that are in the internet. During the martial law era, a lot of people disappeared without trace, and they've never been found. Up to now, people are searching for their loved ones, but they haven't found, and they have searched extensively all over the Philippines and outside for their loved ones, only to find out that there are no traces of them. These are violations of the major provisions of the Bill of Rights, specifically in the provision of depriving life, liberty, and property. A lot of people, even during the most recent time, during the anti-drug campaign of the previous administration, that is aptly called the EJK, a lot of people went into hiding because they were tortured, gunned down for no reason at all, and they were not given the due process of law. My second key takeaway is the right to remain silent and self-incrimination. These are guaranteed in our Constitution, the Bill of Rights under Section 12 and Section 17. You see in the picture Mark Alan Arevalo, and this is from the most recent Senate hearing on the flood control mess. And I think, and he was barely audible when he said, I invoke my right to self-cremation. That's what I heard him say. In fact, the Speaker of the House or the chair of the Blue Ribbon Committee repeated to him, what did you just say? I invoke my right to self-cremation. And I think he said, I invoke my right to self-incrimination. So after this mess, maybe we can invite Mr. Mark Alan Rebelo to be a Toastmaster Club. Maybe, right, we can ask him to join the San Jose del Monte Premier Club. Okay, we have one last speaker for the night, but I don't believe he's here. So he passed on the opportunity to speak.
Taga-Bukawi po yan.
Taga-Bukawi ba
Sir,
siya?
taga-Bukawi po yan, Sir Arevalo.
Baka kasama niya si
Opo.
Mark Alan Arevalo. The title of his speech would have been The Unnecessary Valedictory Address. But unfortunately, our third speaker for the evening, is he here, Mark?
Yes, Sedi is here.
Is he here?
Yes.
Is Eddie here? I'm sorry, Sedi, I didn't see you come in. But ladies and gentlemen, for our third speaker, his speech is under engaging humor. Through the path, deliver your message with humor. And the very purpose of this project is to practice developing and presenting a longer humorous speech. And this is for 18 to 20 minutes. I'm not sure how Cedric can sustain 22 minutes of humor, but knowing him, I'm pretty sure he can do it. So with the evaluator, Dan Napalinga, an equally talented and humorous Toastmaster, DTM for that matter, please welcome for the third speech for the night under the humorous, engaging humor, the unnecessary valedictory address by Toastmaster Cedi Cortez.
Fellow Toastmasters and friends, it's been 3 months since I was discharged as an area director. And recently, I received this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Area Director Rai. I received this plaques of appreciation and recognition since Area G3 is a distinguished area. I just realized I haven't delivered any valedictory address to anyone. Was it necessary? No, because being an area director is not about me. However, as a main character of my own story, I want to share this accomplishment with you. It has been mentioned in Article 3, Bill of Rights, Section 1, that no one shall be deprived of liberty. In that case, allow me to be the spotlight. Some Toastmasters have known me for being meek, timid, and introverted. That is why I asked Toastmaster Roy de la Cruz, who just cornered me, am I ready to be the successor as an area director? At first, I was hesitant to answer that because I was focused in my graduate studies. But eventually, I nodded and said, I am ready. Fast forward, I was introduced as the incoming area director in a Toastmaster meeting June 2024. After that meeting, a Toastmaster approached me and said, "Akalain mo yun?" With sarcasm. What did he or she mean in the first place? Am I not expected to be an area director? But of course, I just shrug it off because maybe I'm just overreacting. Or maybe he or she is not sarcastic at all. So I just have to move on. What I did, I asked for guidance. First, past area director Roy initiated a meeting and gave me tips on how to deal with club officers. It also included the actual duties and responsibilities and some matters that I have to prepare. Second, I took a visit to distinguished Toastmaster Christine Temblic Temblique in their house in Katipunan and asked for her mentorship regarding the role. She gave me a lot, as in a lot, and emphasized that even though that I am the area director, I should still strike a balance between my Toastmasters leadership and professional life. Third, I seek with past division directors, Rose and Armel, and they were my mentors and devil's advocates. These mentors that I sought help from had one common advice: look for the contest judges. So I was like, how can I look? I just have a small circle of Toastmasters. I am shy to ask. Like, hi, ma'am, sir, can you be our contest judge? It's not like that. For the lack of better word, it's transactional. So that I have to make sure that I make my presence felt. A certain division held a fun run in Ayala, Makati on a Sunday. Upon checking the details, the organizers were the area directors and it will be participated by the division director himself. And it also includes past area directors and seasoned Toastmasters. I just got the jackpot in a single blow because the prospective judges will now be on my hands. All I have to do is run. So I joined. I also bought their dry fit shirt just to show how interested I am without them knowing my real intentions. So the day has come. The search for the judges, the fun run started. We were settling ourselves and I just lined behind them because I was really, really shy. Past area director Roy was very correct. I am a silent leader. But I should have the guts. I just look at each of them. Some of them were familiar faces. And while I am looking at them, I was just counting. Judge 1, Judge 2, Judge 3, up to Judge 20. My problem for the area contest will be solved. To be honest, I enjoyed the fun run. In fact, I placed third among the 20 plus attendees. After we run, we gathered at the Starbucks and we introduced ourselves. So I was like, good morning, everyone, fellow Toastmasters. I am Toastmaster Cedric Cortez from Division G and a member of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. I am also an area director. So the division director asked me, taga Meycauayan ka? Ang layo ah. I answered, taga Valenzuela po. Then, a certain Toastmaster asked me, area director ka? Which I replied, yes. That Toastmaster said, kailangan mo ng judge. Huwag ka umupo dyan. Dito ka sa gilid. Huwag ka dyan umupo sa gilid. Dito ka. Lahat yan, area director yan. Distinguished Toastmaster yan. Kung kailangan mo rin ng GE, dito ka umupo. I almost turned red because of Toastmaster Nostradamus. Because he guessed my real intention. Which was the intention of the other fun attendees as well. We exchanged our contact and info. And for me, it paid off. Because I was able to get all the area directors during the area speech contest, which was held last January. Speaking of the speech contest, that was the heaviest responsibility an area director should prepare for. From logistics, the venue, the role takers, most importantly, the contestants. The contest went well because of the help of past division director Armel, who helped me organize even at midnight. I just listened with all of her homilies, and I accepted the fact that I was the accountable person during that contest. Also, when the contest came, I vividly remembered how nervous I was. This distinguished Toastmaster Malu could attest that. Because we started late and I'm afraid that we might get an additional charge, which was happened. I am just grateful with the fellow Toastmasters who chipped in, who gave cash during that time. I wasn't able to control some of the Toastmasters who ordered food even though there was a prepared food beforehand. But it was a sigh of relief that it finally happened. Also, as an Area G3 director, I visited 6 clubs. While some of them meet virtually, I struggle visiting some of them on a regular basis. Even with my mother club, Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Distinguished Toastmaster Mark knows that. That sometimes I had to be on be absent that time. Though I complied with the visiting requirements, which is twice a year. I think one of my memorable visits would be from the City of Angeles Toastmasters Club because it's an on-site meeting. And I had to road from Cubao going to Pampanga. And because of that, I went home very, very late. I remember the time when I going straight to our house. Once I opened the door, my parents asked me, Sadie, where have you been? So I answered, I was with my friends. Whose friends? Fellow Toastmasters and friends. I can't believe that I went very far as a Toastmaster. I learned so much. I learned so much because of the challenges and the triumphs that I have encountered. I can also believe that I'll be serving outside the club. Because who would have thought that this silent leader made a noise when Area G3 became a distinguished area? I can't believe that I made it. No, we made it through. I am beyond grateful to the 6 clubs. My mother club, Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, NB Consulting Toastmasters Club, City of Angeles, Bataan, Cabalen San Fernandino, and Support Ninja PH Toastmasters Club for showing support. I am grateful to my mentors, past division directors Rose and Armel for being my supporters and my devil's advocates, and I was honed because of you two. To distinguished Toastmaster Christine Temblique, thank you for guiding me and especially with your sensible advice. Thank you for backing me up. It made me respect you even more, to be honest. It made me admire you more, being one of the pillars of District 75. And of course, to past Area Director Roy, for being the first person who trusted me with the role. You are one of the area directors that I really looked up to. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, my journey as an area director taught me a lot of valuable lessons that I will bring in my personal and professional life. I learned to lead, I learned to deliver, I learned to stay on my ground, which is the most important one. And it's been 3 months since I was discharged as an area director. I am not in the spotlight anymore. I am not in the spotlight of those challenges and triumphs. But still, as a Toastmaster, I am still on the spotlight of experiences, which I am looking forward to. And what makes me a thriving Toastmasters. So the question is, was it really necessary to deliver this? Again, no. But this is a speech project with my objective to share with you that once in my life, I had a thriving career as an area director. Good evening. Thank you.
Toastmaster Seri, I would have been disappointed if I did not hear you speak tonight. Back in the day when you were just starting as a coy, shy Toastmaster, I saw your journey as a classic example of a parvenu, shy, coy, and intimidated. Now look at you. You are a classic example of a Toastmaster that has gone beyond communication skills. You are an excellent speaker. You are a well organized speaker, and you interject humor when you need it to. Congratulations, Toastmaster Sedi. And by the way, I received your draft of the humorous speech. It's a trap. It's a wonderful speech, and I think it's a winning speech. So let's go back to my takeaways on the Bill of Rights. My third takeaway is private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. As I said earlier, if you were an owner of a small piece of land somewhere with the possibility of a bridge or a skyway being built there, chances are the government will pay you a sum of money that is equivalent to the fair market value. Most of the time, it's lower than the market value, and they will invoke the right of eminent domain. Now, here's a reverse situation. Just recently, a billionaire political dynasty bought a property and overvalued it from 5 million to 1.3 trillion pesos with a revaluation gain of 68,000%. And that padded their income for the year. One is to attract new investors, and two is to be able to assess their property in the future when the government would plan to build a bridge or a skyway or anything in the property that is in the scope of the public project. Imagine if you were to buy that property for 1.3 billion, how much will the government spend on that? That's my third takeaway. My fourth takeaway is Section 21 on double jeopardy. 7 years ago, Congressman Laila de Lima was in prison for political revenge. All charges were dismissed and she was free in June of 2024. All witnesses, including the drug lord Kirby from and also the Lima's PR or assistant, and all the other evidences were withdrawn and all recanted their statements. But now, in the current situation, some people are providing and posting the same political agenda to put her back to jail and void her acquittal. The Supreme Court says, no way, because under the Bill of Law, you are protected from double jeopardy and you can be charged for the same offense twice. And my last takeaway is some vocabulary gems from our Bill of Rights. Regrets of grievances in Section 4. You will be compensated for all the and resolved for all the wrongs and injustices done to you by the government. And during the martial law era, a lot of people disappeared, and now they were compensated a whooping amount of 10 billion pesos, and all of them have been given to the beneficiaries of the human right violations. Quasi-judicial body under Section 11. An administrative court that can interpret the law or can decide on the law. Examples of these are human rights commissions. The writ of habeas corpus under Section 13 and 15, I have explained this to you earlier. You have the body, the court says, and that will compel the custodian to bring the prisoner to court to determine whether he is still up for detention or he could be set free. Ex post facto law, after the fact, retroactively criminalized an act when it was legal when it was committed. The case of former Senator Trillanes, Duterte wanted his acquittal or his uh, being freed from the cases be reversed in court. But they failed because the Supreme Court said they cannot do that under the ex facto law because I believe ex-Senator Trillanes applied for amnesty back in the day, and that was used to counter this post facto law provision that was proposed by the Duterte administration. Based on that, I am done with the Bill of Rights. If you have any questions, feel free. But now we are in the most important portion of our program for the night, which is the warranted. I want to use warranted under the Bill of Rights, warrant of arrest. I would like to use that warrant word to use it in the warranted evaluations of our great speakers for the night. And our general evaluator for the night looks like he is a contractor, but he actually has a very kind heart, not only for Toastmasters, for his family, but for the rest of the civil members of society. Our ex officio member of the board, past president, immediate past president, our general evaluator. Give a hand to Jeff Robles.
Thank you, Toastmaster Oscar. Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, we can.
All right. So I'm your general evaluator for tonight's meeting. My role is to evaluate the overall conduct of the meeting, provide constructive feedback, and introduce the individuals who will help us grow in our journey as communicators and leaders. Those are my partners on this general evaluation segment, which are the evaluators. Just like the Bill of Rights empowers citizens, our evaluation portion empowers members to grow by giving them a voice, feedback, and encouragement. Let us now move on to the evaluation of our impromptu speaking segment, the table topic session. To evaluate the session and its participant, let us all welcome distinguished Toastmaster Ben Garcia.
Thank you so much, immediate past President Jeff, for that introduction. And I'm so pleased to be here with you all at Meycauayan Toastmasters Club once again to be able to listen to all our amazing speakers in the table topic session. Definitely, there were no parvenus around during our table topic session. Instead, we had very great wordsmiths who were able to address the questions that were given to them by our past director Armel Gutierrez. So thank you so much, Director Armel, for really being able to come up with a beautiful layout as well of your questions and being able to note that yes, all of us are Toastmasters in the room. You did not belabor the point as to the different things about table topics. I like the direct way you went into it, but you were still able to give us the details, give our speakers the reminders of what are the different styles that they can use, and then you went quickly into it. What I found very beautiful also was that you have applied past feedback where when our speakers were already in the thick of their speech, you put down the PowerPoint so we could focus on our speakers. And I love that. I agree with our dear Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Oscar, when he said you have a very gentle voice, but you have a big heart. And I love how you were able to really choose these wonderful quotations or wonderful prompts for our table topic speakers. So great job on that. Let's give Director Ermel a warm round of applause. Thank you so much. For our speakers, I love Toastmaster Mar, how you were our president, Toastmaster Mar, how you were able to immediately volunteer in spite of the fact that you're already a prepared speaker. So thank you very much for taking on that opportunity, and even in how you delivered your speech, you were I was very intrigued by what you said when you said the new right that you would want the Filipino to have is the right to bounce back. And I thought, wow, that is such an amazing right to actually promote, to give people second chances, particularly those who are suffering so much discrimination, who are marginalized, and how they will be able to really have more gains as this is given. Now, I would encourage you to actually make it even more powerful for you had a lot of great ideas, but you needed to repeat the bounce back, right? To remind us, just in case we missed it, that this was the Filipino right that you wanted. And I'm glad that Director Armel actually mentioned it in her feedback in as she was segueing to the next speaker, that yes, this is the right that you wanted people to have opportunity to get a second chance, because you deviated a little bit from it as you were going through it. So again, repeat that awesome thought just to remind us what it is. And then, of course, make sure that you make eye contact when you are delivering your speech, because a lot of the times you were looking up or looking sideways and others. So there was that connection that we would want to have with you as you are engaging with us by looking into that light into your camera. Overall, Toastmaster Mar, thank you so much for that wonderful thought. I will be carrying that with me, the right to bounce back, as a great reminder. Let's give him a warm round of applause. Thank you. For our second one, Toastmaster Rose, the new law protecting a unique Filipino tradition. And I love how Toastmaster Rose, you gave us the different ideas that flitted through your head as you were actually considering the one to settle on. You said bayanihan, the dances, and then you finally settled on the opo, and the pagmamahal. So thank you so much for that very warm-hearted right or particular aspect of our Filipino culture that you want to really protect. And I love how it was so meaningful, really, that as you were able to really share this, you emphasized how you want our society to be filled with respectful people. And this brings me back to something that in my day, my age reveal, we used to call it GMRC. But I love how you were really able to focus on the opo, and the pagmamahal. So I find this very in consonance with how your heart is also very tender and very open to this kind of really having respect for others. I would recommend again that you also look into the camera. There was a time where you looked down. So I was wondering, what is she looking at? Does she have Codigo? Of course not. But I love how you were, I think, timing yourself. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Rose, for that very wonderful idea of something to protect. And even if there is no law, I hope all of us go on forward to be able to really appreciate this as we go along. A round of applause for Toastmaster Rose. For our third speaker, Area Director Rai. Thank you so much for that thought into the digital age, what we should protect in terms of our privacy. Initially, when Toastmaster Armel was actually throwing this question at you, I was like, that's a really challenging thing. For me, I couldn't actually even come up with an idea. So I loved how you were saying that we should check the settings of our devices, that we should be aware of who we are sharing our info with. And that was such a great reminder. And then you also went into the more the really dark parts of the web or the internet when you were talking about deep fakes. And I love the fact that you shared this particular aspect of the danger of the internet, but you didn't really go into the gross details because that is for another audience and maybe for a longer speech. But I believe that those are very strong points. So you did a great job of pinpointing those things. So the last part even caught my attention when you said, let's not gatekeep the knowledge that we gain. Now, in terms of that, it's a beautiful reminder, but I feel that this is something you can continue to develop into a powerful speech as well to remind all of us how much more we can gatekeep. So I love the fact that you introduced it and it opened a path for you to have a prepared speech. But let's be cautious in terms of the table topics. Of course, we cannot discuss all of this, but they are wonderful reminders. And I thank you for opening these particular discussions in this very short table topic. Congratulations, Area Director Rai. Thank you so much. A warm round of applause. And of course, we come to our fourth speaker. And we have here our distinguished Toastmaster, Mark Edrada. So we have here the power or the absence of right as Filipinos. And I was like, oh, he went to the taxes. I love how you were able to share that in terms of your salary. And when I realized what you were actually going to, I was like, okay, yes, yes, yes. There was that universality of the idea that yes, all of us get upset that we are paying taxes and yet we are not enjoying these things. I love how you said I have an adequate standard of living, but of course, as we have our taxes used more wisely, then all of us can have that. So always a great source of ideas, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark. Thank you so much for that. I would encourage you to continue to hone the way you tie up your ideas to one another because I believe that if you had link them together in a more powerful way, maybe even really giving an example of like when I look at my salary or my tax and then maybe give a round of an amount, something like that, then that can be also a more specific way of pushing it. So link it into certain ways that there's that satisfying ending to it all and maybe even a call to action, stronger call to action on what we can do about this particular power that we have as Filipinos. Overall, I love how you zeroed in on this. All of our four speakers, I'm amazed at all the wonderful thoughts you came up with. So thank you so much. A round of applause for distinguished Toastmaster Mark, all of our speakers for table topics for those great ideas. And again, let's continue to engage with our audience in this virtual room by looking into the camera and also really tying up our ideas in a strong way as we deliver more punchy and powerful speeches. Thank you so much for this wonderful, thought-provoking table topic session, Director Armel. And with that, I give you all a warm round of applause and thank you for this opportunity once again. And yes, no parvenus at all. Indeed, we have experts who are wealthy in words, in heart, and in wonderful, inspiring calls to action. Back to you, General Evaluator Jeff. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Bank. Before I proceed in the evaluation, let's have a round of applause to DTM Bank and TM Armel. The session was smartly guided by our table topics master, TM Armel, who asked questions on about our rights, which is quite a trendy on this on the current news on TV, something that every Filipino can relate to. The topics were thought provoking, and I congratulate the brave speakers who rose to the challenge of TM Armel. As for the evaluation of Dita Embeng, I may say that it is very detailed, direct, and structured. And congratulations, Dita Embeng, for giving us a detailed, comprehensive evaluation to every table topic speaker. It captured the essence of the session well, and your comments were very helpful to both the table topics master and the speakers. Right now, I cannot think of a recommendation on how to improve that. I believe that's almost perfect, flawless evaluation for our table topics. And congratulations again, Tita Embeng. Now let's move on and begin on the prepared speech evaluations. To evaluate the first speaker, TM Ana, let us all welcome TM Rose Pagia. The stage is yours, TM Rose.
Thank you so much to our general evaluator. Congratulations to you, Toastmaster Anna. You passed being a parvenu and now you're on the road to being old rich. Your speech is opulent. It is organized, or it was organized from the deals to the handshake. The pros and the cons were clear, left, right, good and bad. It was compartmentalized, and it was it was almost like we can see them in sections. I also liked the content of your speech. It was chock full of lessons and learnings. And you did not stop in the giving the lessons in the process itself. Afterwards, you have evaluated yourself like a true Toastmaster that you are, self-evaluated, and you gave a learning after the experience as well. And I would like to mention that your voice, I like your voice. It was not too hot, not too cold. It was just right. It was right for the message and for the content and the objective, the purpose of what your speech is. Now, may I suggest to add some to your investment so you can put them in your speech bank? Number one, you mentioned typical win-win situation. You did win. It felt that you won the negotiation. I mean, you said that you won, but it did not feel that you won the negotiation. Don't belittle the win that you had. Go. It would be good to be consistent with what you're saying with your vocal and uh, with your with your facial expressions as well. Now, with regarding the facial expressions, I'd like to mention the angles of your camera. It's a good opportunity to show physically the left and the right side, you and your company, so that we can visually see, we can physically demonstrate the negotiation that was happening. All right. And in summary, Toastmaster Anna, your speech is great. It was organized, your content was filled to the brim, and your voice was just right. I would just like to remember that for your voice to match the content and for you to maximize the space that you have. With that, I challenge you to use compounded interest, continue delivering more speeches twice as much so you will learn twice as fast as well. And with that, I return the control back to our general evaluator, Toastmaster Jeff.
Congratulations, Temro, and thank you for that wonderful evaluation to TM Anna. Your evaluation was insightful and you highlighted both the analytical per se, in meaning how Anna portray herself in the screen, and as well as the content of her speech. So you balance commendations and recommendations with clarity and detailed insertion of your commendations and recommendations. Well done, TM Ru. An addition to your evaluation to TM Anna is TM Anna, I believe you can center yourself on the screen so your audience can see your face expression, your gestures on the screen, because when you are delivering your speech earlier, you are more inclined on the left side of my screen. So that's all my addition to TM Rose evaluation. And congratulations, TM Rose. Let's give her a round of applause. Moving on to the second speaker, TMR. Let us welcome our distinguished Toastmaster Mark Edrada to evaluate TMR speech. The stage is yours, TMR.
The Meycauayan Toastmasters Club is a haven for supportive members, and I can attest to that. Congratulations and thank you, Toastmaster Mar, for showcasing your support, not to be a far venue, but to be genuinely telling the tale. I've known you for many years, Toastmaster Mar, and I would say that this is one of the best speeches that I have heard from you. Why? Because number one, your speech was organized as you delivered your speech in a fluid manner. Second, you know the flow of your speech because you did not use any note while delivering your speech. And third, I appreciate that you utilize your stage by showcasing your gestures. You were good at it. And to support you all the more to be a better communicator and better performer, I would like to suggest number one, make sure that your speech resonates with your audience. How can you make it resonate with your audience? Number one, by being direct to the point or by having emphasis on your main points. I noticed earlier that there was a story. And I was, from that story, I was in the process of looking on the point of your speech. Second, you can be a better speaker, be a better communicator by connecting with your audience by being mindful of your eyes and voice. I noticed also earlier that your eye contact, that you were looking beyond the camera. And since you were delivering a story, it would be a plus points if you had this volume and pacing in your speech delivery. And third, face your audience with your face. What do I mean? So let your face express what you're saying. I noticed earlier that your face looked familiar from start to finish. And I would like to challenge you. Make funny statements so that your facial expressions could be funny also. To recap, Toastmaster Mar, you were good at your speech organization, you know the flow of your speech, and you showcased your gestures. And you could be better by making sure that your speech resonates with your audience, by being mindful with your eyes and your voice, and by letting your face express what you're saying. Toastmaster Mar, that is by evaluation and as support to you as a member of Toastmasters. And what I appreciate the most with your delivery is that you have this background support while you were delivering. It seems that you have this supportive wife who properly adjusted your camera when you were delivering a speech. In flowers have thorn, and that a little adjustment from your supportive wife could be a thorn, but the thorn is also a part of a flower. That who is you? The flower, the rose is you, and the champion is you. Back to you. Congratulations, Toastmaster Mar. Back to you, Toastmaster Jeff.
Thank you, DTMR. Your evaluation had great energy and presence, just like the speaker you are evaluating. As we can see, Toastmaster Mar took the opportunity to stand and show himself while delivering his speech, which I think DTM Mark has partially said during his evaluation. DTM Mark, you acknowledge the strengths of TMR, his delivery, his presentation on the screen, and his structure of his the structure of his speech. And lastly, you gave very actionable plan points for improvement, which I believe it will be very helpful to TMR's improvement of his speech delivery. Other than that, congratulations, DTM Mark, and let's give him a round of applause. Moving on to evaluate our third speaker, let me call on distinguished Toastmaster Dan Napaninga to evaluate TM Steady's speech. DTM Dan, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. Good evening to my good evening to Sadie for that beautiful speech that he delivered tonight. Sadie, you have two evaluators tonight. Myself and the Toastmasters of the evening. And I would like to thank the Toastmasters of the evening who gave a very good evaluation of Sadie's performance. I agree with Toastmaster Oscar. What you have said about Sadie's performance tonight is also in my mind and also the things that I observed. In addition to that, I would like to congratulate Sadie for setting his standards on a very high level. It was a very good storytelling of what he has experienced in Toastmasters. A parvenu of many wealth of experiences from different clubs. I would like to say that SETI satisfied the objectives of the speech not only because of the beautiful stories that he shared with us, but also because SETI was always smiling and at the same time interested in what he is saying. Smiling is contagious, and therefore it is a happy feeling. And when you deliver a humorous speech, that helps a lot in invoking the audience reaction to what you are saying. That was a very good ploy. Sedi, I can always tell you that you have reached that level just like my favorite actor, Rock Hudson. For people who may not know Rock Hudson, he was a very famous actor in the 60s and 70s, and he has very good pronunciation, just like Sedi. He pronounced and made the actions relatable to what he wanted to say, and Sedi just did that. So all in all, Sedi, congratulations, you made the mark, and I hope that you continue improving the humor of the day by telling us anecdotes or humorous stories about your experience in the different clubs that you have visited. Congratulations, Sedi, and let's give Sedi a big round of applause.
Thank you, DTM Dan. As you can see, distinguished Toastmaster Dan gave a masterclass on how to evaluate a humorous speech, like what TM said he had delivered, celebrating celebrating the speech of TM Sedi while offering also a meaningful critic and suggesting his rock rock star idol, which is like a metaphor on evaluating TM Sedi. So DTM Dan, your delivery was structured and clear as we have given critical points on the speech of TM Sedi, and job well done, DTM Dan. Let's give him a round of applause. Now let us move on to my technical team, the tag team, starting with the timer, then theme or filler, and motion evaluation, and lastly the grammarian. We'll hear first from our word master and grammarian, who has been tracking our use of the word and listening for good uses of the language as well as points for improvement. May we hear the grammarian's report, including the usage for the word of the night Parvenu from TM Rai Desus. TM Rai, the spotlight is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I am your new area director for O3. It feels like a parvenu because I just held the position recently, and honestly, it is I'm still navigating and still trying to sink in the role. And I am your evaluator for tonight. So that made the ninth time that we use the word parvenu. And so the next speaker, I would like to challenge to use. We need to at least use another one so that we can meet the standard of using 10 times our word of the night. So for those who use our word of the night, I would like to mention Toastmaster Oscar. He used the word 3 times. Toastmaster Bang used the word once, including DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster Bang, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark, Distinguished Toastmaster Dan. All of them used the word once. And Toastmaster Rose, I forgot to mention, she used the word 2 times. And I like the way when she used the word "don't belittle your win" because I can really relate because I always believe that winning is a habit. You don't win in wholesale. It comes in retail. You win on a day-to-day basis until the time that you will realize that you are winning big. So congratulations, Toastmaster Rose. And for DTM Bang, I would like to express again the word that she uttered when she told us earlier that we have experts in words and heart. So I like when you're using words and feelings together. So I wrote it down. And then Toastmaster Jeff, congratulations, Toastmaster Jeff, because you used the word of the week. The word of the week is insertion. So, so when you uttered that word, I am smiling because you used the word insertion. I've been hearing a lot that word for this week. So congratulations for sharing us the word of the week. That's my grammar report. But I would like to share with you, Toastmaster and friends, to remember that the words that we utter, it will inspire and it might break people. So we need to be careful of the words that we are sharing or telling a person, especially if they are experiencing trying times. Congratulations, everyone, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, TM Rai. Next is the one who tracks the use of verbal pauses, those ah and ums that come out of our mouths while we think of the next thing to say or and detract audience from our message. She also tracks the unnecessary motions we made during our speeches. May we hear the filler and the motion evaluation report from PM Chris Sabaliel. The spotlight is yours, PM Chris.
Thank you, Evaluator. Good evening, Toastmaster Jeff. I would like to commend everyone for tonight for using or mostly avoiding filler words and repetitive words, which is really, really good, and it shows the progress and growth during our Toastmasters journey. But aside from the congratulatory messages, of course, we would like to share those who have used filler words, repetitive words, so that we can also improve in your future evaluations, speeches, or impromptu speeches and facilitations as well. So for our table topics, I'd like to congratulate those DTM Armel, DTM Mark, and DTM Rose for not using any filler words or repetitive words during the impromptu speeches. So congratulations. For Toastmaster Marley Biran, he used used 4 times, and then Toastmaster Rai used 5 times and repeated the word the once. For our prepared speakers, for Toastmaster Anna, that just like what during the evaluation mentioned, you could have seated properly so we can see your movements. And I also noted that you tend to express yourself like this. I'm not sure if this is part of your speech, but it's quite distracting on my end, and also when you're looking up. And it is somehow confusing on what it is about. Like, is it connected to your speech, or is it a mannerism that you tend to use when you were speaking with other people? But congratulations, because it's a prepared speeches and you did not use any filler or any repetitive words. For Toastmaster Marley Biran, congratulations, because I like that you really stand up so that we can see your full presentation of your speech. You use your spaces, you use your body to express your speech more, and we appreciate that. However, I noticed that you tend to pull down your shirt, and those kinds of mannerisms sometimes shows nervousness. So it's unavoidable at times, but with practice, you can totally remove that on your future speeches. Also, just adding on what they mentioned, the eye contact, since you stand up and delivered your speech during that time, try looking into the camera of your laptop so we know that you are speaking to us and not other people on your house earlier. However, congratulations, Toastmaster Mar. And for Toastmaster Sedi, you used or repeated the word so twice during your prepared speeches. During the evaluation, DTM Bang used the word once, repeated the word or once, and then repeated the word really twice. And lastly, congratulations to DTM Rose, DTM Mark, and DTM Dan for not using any filler words, any repeated words during their evaluations. And DTM Rai, you used the word so 1 time. To end my evaluation, contrary to the usual meaning of parvenu, everyone here tonight has proven worthy of praise, rising confidently in their Toastmaster journey through passion, determination, and dedication. Back to you, our evaluation of the evening, Toastmaster Jeff.
Thank you, PM Chris. And finally, it is important to get your message across in the allowed time and for the meeting to run according to schedule. May we now hear the timer's report from TM Elise Dulates. TM Elise, the spotlight is yours.
Hello, Toastmasters. Good evening. I am not going to take a risk in opening up my video. I might lost the connection, but then again, I just have to go on and make my report. The right of every Toastmasters information on matters regarding his consumed minutes of speaking shall herein provided by the principles of Toastmasters International laws of conduct and professional ethics. Meaning, fellow Toastmasters, if you did overtime, you are violating the rights of the next speaker's time concession. But if you are prompt on your due time, you can very well be a candidate for a higher position of recommendation in our next Toastmasters session. Fellow Toastmasters, herein is my report. We started our meeting and our Vice President for Education has made a call to order by 7:01 sharp with a cue recording in progress. Our invocation is up like 1 minute, a Toastmaster promise, 1 minute, and the table topic session, our mail, consumes 17 minutes in all, with our respective 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Toastmaster Rose, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Toastmaster Rye, 2 minutes, while Toastmaster Mark, 1 minute and 52 seconds. So we have this time allotment of 2 minutes, 1.5, and you just need to know when your time, how you engage in your time allotted for you. For our speakers, Toastmaster Ana Aborde utilized 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Our number 2 speaker, Mar Libiran, engaged in a 6 minute and 34 seconds speech. But our number 3 speaker, Seri Cortez, which is supposed to be an 18 to 22 minutes, he only used up a 14 minute and 20 seconds speech. Then for the meat of our program, the evaluation time, our table topic evaluator, that is distinguished Toastmaster Ben Garcia, used up 9 minutes and 30 seconds in all. She was really very fast. She was talking so fast, but then again, I can understand what she's saying. Through our mail, okay. So anyway, she evaluated all the Toastmasters in 9 minutes and 36 seconds. For our prepared speakers, I need to report on the utilized time of Toastmaster Rose for Anna's speech of 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Evaluation of Mark to Mar's speech is 3 minutes and 56 seconds. Distinguished Toastmaster Mark, you are over time. And Seri Cortez speech was evaluated by distinguished Toastmaster Don in 3 minutes and 39 seconds, also over time. Toastmaster Rai used up 3 minutes and 18 seconds as a language evaluator, and Chris used up 3 minutes and 49 seconds for his fame evaluation. With his fellow Toastmasters, this is my timer's report. Take note, my dear noble men and noble women. Tonight's session will refer to the ethical standards governing behavior in context of workplace, public service, and professional ethics. This is your Toastmaster Elise reporting on the timer's evaluation. Take it away.
Thank you, TM Elise. Now I will start my evaluation to our timer. TM Rai, thank you for encouraging us to use the word of the night, Parbinu, and for the sharp ear on the use of the word of the night. My only recommendation is you have mentioned that we have a goal of 10 to use the word of the night. I believe you can mention it before or the first thing on your introduction during the first part of our meeting, so everyone will be looked into and they can track our target goal for the word of the night. Overall, you did a job well done on tracking the grammar usage and word of the night. While for TM Chris, congratulations for catching those filler words and movements that go unnoticed. I believe being a motion and uh, feeler and motion evaluator is quite difficult because we have to be a keen observer on their words and their motions while delivering the speech. But overall, you have tracked their usage, their words, and their motion. Congratulations, Temers. And for TM Elite, your timing was concise and clear. You have mentioned those who are under time and overtime. And based on your report, I can say that everyone loves to be on their own spotlight because there are so many overtime for tonight. Overall, TM Elite, congratulations for being an accurate recorder of time for all our speeches and for our role takers tonight. Congratulations to our technical evaluators for tonight for helping me track the time, the word of the night, and the usage of of the English language. Now for my overall evaluation of the meeting, this evening session was like a well-drafted constitution, structured, well-prepared, because I love how the BP for Education have disseminated the program at the start of the meeting. That's why we are all informed on the flow of the program. Congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Mark. Regarding timeliness, we began on time and kept good pacing. I just recommend for our timer to remind our Toastmaster of the evening of the time so he can like double time or omit some of the teasers, or I may say teasers or feelers on the full program so we can track and finish on time. But overall, our Toastmaster of the evening has done very well. I can say that the presentation is very good. We have learned a lot about the Bill of Rights. The theme tonight is trendy on what we can see and heard from the news, which is I commend for the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. And Tem Oscar has provided great or shared great knowledge to the audience since he detailed, although it's summarized, he provided examples on the scenarios when we not follow our Bill of Rights. So congratulations, Tem Oscar. So as for our meter rule takers, one area to level up is perhaps a smoother transition between segments, and slight polish there could help the flow. So the theme of Bill of Rights reminded us of our right to speak, to grow, and to be heard. And tonight, every member exercised that right beautifully. And that concludes my general evaluation segment. And thank you once again for the opportunity to serve as your general evaluator. And I now return the spotlight to our Toastmaster of the evening, PM Oscar.
Thank you so much, DM Jeff. Such a huge topic and theme to tackle tonight. Bill of Rights is such a very political topic to discuss. And when that was assigned to me by Mark, I thought maybe it would be very difficult for me to break it down to the level of the Toastmasters or break it down to a layman's language. That's very stiff. But you all rose to the occasion. You applied all the necessary means for you to absorb the Bill of Rights. And in closing, I'd like to say that the 22 provisions of the Bill of Rights in our Constitution are all equally significant and valuable. But there's just one provision and that is Section 1 in the Bill of Rights that strikes me the most and touches my heart. Section 1 says, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the law. The rest of the 21 sections revolve around this. I'd like to say that this is really very important because without life, the pursuit of happiness is curtailed. Without liberty, we live in the shadows and in the darkness of the night. And without a home, we're just like travelers journeying into a society that is hardly forgiving and greatly judgmental. Fellow Toastmasters, the lessons of past history and the current event call us to action. We should use the Toastmaster platform that we are on with renewed enthusiasm. We live tonight with the rare privilege of enhanced communication and leadership skills, and we are definitely in a position to inspire others. As we inspire others, that multiplies to make this world a better place to live. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to return the control to our Vice President for Education, Mark Endrada.
To our prepared speakers, please mark your speech projects as completed right after this meeting. To our prepared speech evaluators, you may now complete and send the digital evaluation forms to your assigned speakers. And as your Vice President for Education, I encourage every member to prepare 2 speech projects in advance so each of us may be ready to deliver a speech in case we lack prepared speakers due to any circumstances. Congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Dan, for completing the Level 4 of Effective Coaching Path. Turn on your microphones and read Toastmasters Rai and Jeff a happy birthday this September. Happy birthday, guys!
Birthday, Ryan and Jeff.
Happy birthday!
Blow out.
Get ready with your own speeches for our club level speech contests for the evaluation, humorous, table topics, and international categories. This club level speech contest will be part of our quarterly face-to-face club meeting in October. Our next educational meeting will be on September 23, 2025 at 7 p.m. The theme will be the overseas travel, as we will discuss what needs to prepare when traveling overseas. This will be hosted by distinguished Toastmaster Christine as our Toastmaster for that evening. Our WMS is held every first and third Saturday of the month at 2 p.m. via Zoom. We will have focus group discussions about selective articles from the Toastmaster magazine so we can learn from different people across the planet. On September 20, we will have a focus group discussion on how to write a speech with purpose from the September 2025 issue of the Toastmaster magazine, page 12. This will be followed by prepared speeches from our fellow members. The weekend mentoring session is open to Meycauayan Toastmasters Club members. To our viewers on our social media platform, we invite you to join us to our regular educational meetings every second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 to 9:30 p.m. This is done online via Zoom, admission is free, and follow us on our official social media accounts. For more personal and professional lessons about communication and leadership, download the previous issues of The Toast, the official e-newsletter of the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Download it for free by scanning the QR code at your screen. The Article 3 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution specifies our rights we have in the land. And because of the controversies that arise from the flood control projects to the never-ending corruption worldwide, all the more that we have to exercise our right as citizens and taxpayers. I also encourage every one of you to read and internalize the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, especially the Bill of Rights. Fellow Toastmasters, see you next meeting. I am your Vice President for Education, Mark Enrada, and this is the family that keeps up and looks further in learning more. This is Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Back to you, President Mar.
Well, it has been an evening filled, replete with learning and powerful exchange of idea. Everybody, I hope, is filled to the brim. And by the powers vested in me by the Toastmasters International and subsequently thrust upon me by the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, I now adjourn this meeting.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tito
Morning.
Oscar.
Tulog ulit, Tito Oscar.
Oh, tulog.
Morning.
Yes.
I'll see you soon, guys.
See you soon.
See you next
Good
Okay.
night, everyone.
Good night,
Tita Elise,
everyone.
hello, Tita Elise.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Ma'am Beng, thank you, Ma'am Beng.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ay,
Ma'am
madami
Beng.
Nagwala ako ng protest.
TikTok.
I
Tingnan,
sent
titingnan ko yan. Isa-search natin.
Search
Sige,
natin.
search natin.
Hey, Rose. Pasa mo sa kanila.
I will.
Sige, thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good night.
good
Good night.
night.
Good night.
In our club we gather here, Meycauayan friends so near, leadership we hold so dear. Public speaking brings us pride, together we stand side by side, in this family we confide. Rise and lead, together we succeed, in our hearts we believe. Rise and lead, facing fears one step at a time, helping each other climb, with every word and every rhyme. Hand in hand we chart our course, unity is our greatest force, our family's a powerful source. Rise and lead, together we succeed, in our hearts we believe. Rise and lead. Whoa. Hand in hand we chart our course, unity is our greatest force, our family's a powerful